Hello, my name is Father Tony Penna, and as you know, it's Holy Week throughout the Christian world, and it's Holy Week at Boston College. And as Easter draws closer, I have a custom every year of trying at this time to read from the Gospels about Jesus' resurrection. And last night, I was reading from John's Gospel, chapter 20, about the empty tomb. And I'll read you an excerpt, because the excerpt is what struck me most last night. But Mary stayed outside the tomb weeping, and as she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white sitting there, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said, "They've taken my Lord, and I don't know where they have laid him." And when she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus there, but did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" She thought it was the gardener and said to him, "Sir, if you've carried him away, tell me where you've laid him, and I will take him." And then Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. The point I found interesting in the text last night as I prayed it was the whole idea that when Mary saw Jesus, she didn't recognize Jesus to be Jesus because she thought he was a gardener. She thought he was an ordinary person. When Mary Magdalene mistakes Jesus for the gardener, it reminded me of a time when I was 9 years old and a movie called The King of Kings was out. It was a story about Jesus, and my mother and her friends were so excited to see it. And so they went to the movie and they returned to our home after for coffee and coffee cake. And I was 9 years old in bed, but I was listening. And I remember how excited my mother was about Jesus in this particular movie called The King of Kings. She was excited because Jeffrey Hunter was playing the role of Jesus. And Jeffrey Hunter in his day was the Brad Pitt of our day. He was a Hollywood hunk. And my mother would have followed that guy anywhere, any place, anytime. Now, turn the clock 20 years ahead. I'm now a priest, and I invite my mother and father to Waltham, Massachusetts, where I'm giving a retreat to a bunch of young people. And now I'm using another film about Jesus, not the King of Kings, but it's called The Son of Man. It was made by English TV. And this Jesus is not Brad Pitt, I can assure you. He is a desert person. He comes out of the desert kind of all sweaty, stubble all over his face. He's kind of messed up, and he talks kind of like this. "Hey, you with the nets, put them down. Follow me. Come on, follow me." Well, my mother's watching this film. Well, we finish the retreat. My mother and father and I go to dinner. And my mother and father say to me, "Oh, Anthony, the retreat was beautiful." And I said, "Mom, how did you like the movie?" And she says, "Oh, it was just so inspirational. But Anthony, I'm confused. Who was Jesus?" And I said, "It's the guy who comes out of the desert all sweaty, Mom, who talks like a rough voice." And she goes, "Oh my God, it can't be him. He looked too ordinary. He looked too average. Oh my God, he looked too much like your father to be Jesus." In some ways, I think my mother, although I loved her, I think my mother's wrong. In the post-resurrection world, the work of Jesus Christ has been entrusted, that the baton has been passed to people like us. And if we show up with love and mercy in our hearts, backboned by no small amount of courage, this world and this campus would be truly blessed by our Christian faith this Easter season. Happy Easter.